when I have kids, I'm going to save money by not
I'm going to buy
lemonade. I'm going to buy sweet tarts and put them in water.
I know you'll know where we were when. I know you'll know where we were when.
Hello and welcome to Where We Were When, a podcast where we look back at the most memorable movie-going experiences of our youth and eat candy. I'm your host, Heidi Gardner, and I'm joined as always by my brother, Justin Gardner. Hi, Justin.
Heidi, how are you doing this week?
I am good. I know that you're my family on the show, but I feel like our guest this week is also like basically family.
Absolutely. Intimately involved with everything that we do here at Where We Were When. I am really excited to have this person on. She is an absolute dynamo. She makes the show just sing and live and breathe and dance. I mean, I can't say enough good things about her.
I mean, I'll throw a little bit more in there about her.
Please.
Although you did a great job saying, yes, she makes Where We Were When what it is. Without her, it would be slop. I think it
would be complete trash. Complete trash.
It would be trash. And one of the reasons that she makes it what it is because she is also a comedian herself, a writer, performer. She performs in a sketch group called Wilburn, and she also directs a sketch group at the Laugh Index Theater. She's the editor of our show. She does graphics, produces the show. She gives us notes, just notes us to death.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, on pretty much like every couple minutes, we get notes through our phones and I'm she's right. She's right about 92% of the time.
Yes. And she, like a lot of our listeners, has become a big fan of Mamo. I'll say that straight up.
How can you not?
She talks about Mamo about as much as us. So I would say she's like a bonus grandchild at this point.
That's right.
She's a Mamo's kid. She is.
That's a T-shirt.
A Mamo's kid. Yes.
Catherine. Heidi just. She just created another T-shirt for you to create.
Already giving me work.
That's right.
Didn't even get my name out before an editing assignment came up.
So let me get it for you.
That's what this episode is. Strap in. Get ready because we're going to be coming. It's going to be chock full of good ideas.
That's the cost I pay to be on.
Please welcome the newest Mamo's kid, Katherine Coleman.
Hey, Mamo! I do love Mamo. That is accurate. I was just on the phone with her earlier today.
Oh, so you actually are in contact with Mamo?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Wow. Really?
Wow. Okay. And did she reach out first or did you?
Same time. It's mutual.
Oh my God.
We texted each other like literally we're like we're on the same wavelength.
She's on IG, so I can see that happening. She's not on Twitter, but she's on IG. So dropping into those DMs. It's match made in heaven.
Mamo slid right in.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm still happy to have you. That's a little disturbing. Yes, you're pulling. How does it feel to be pulling double duty this week? Your guest, you're going to be editing your own episode.
Your own face. You're going to be looking at your own face.
Oh, God, for so many hours.
I know.
Oh, I'm regretting
It's going to be great. Listen, it's going to be Catherine,
great.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be great.
You're going to love it.
You said so many nice things about me. Like my face is so red. That's another assignment.
That's great.
It's like now I have to like color grade my face.
Well, you have to do it for me every time. So, same filter, right?
Same filter.
You've got the Justin D red filter, right? Put it on yourself.
Yeah, it's just saved.
You got it done. It's done. Yeah.
Easy.
It's a plug-in.
I actually didn't say the actual nicest things about you, which is Katherine has like For fans of pets out there, Katherine has a household of a lot of pets. I am very jealous. Will you run it down for the listeners what you're packing at home?
What a great
Whoa,
phrase.
uh-oh. You're packing it home. What kind of wilderness shelter you've got at home?
Yep. So the Upper
She's
West Side
Ace Ventura.
Zoo. I'm Ace Ventura. We have 2 cats, Russell and Katie. They're perfect. We have an 85-pound yellow lab, Riley, and then we have a bearded dragon named Smaug.
I mean, from the 2 cats, I would have already been sold. I would have already been like, love Katherine, 2 cats, that's cool. Incredible. Then you throw down yellow lab, which, let's just be honest, like, that's the puppy. That's the puppy as a child that everybody wants. Like, and also, like, I've wanted to deny the coolness of a yellow lab for a long time because it is so cliche. It's like you hear that it's like the perfect family pet, and you're just a little bit like, yeah, I get it, whatever. But then you hang out with one and you're like, oh, I want to sleep with you every night. Like, you're very special breed.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's incredible. And then and so you're like kind of typical American, 2 cats and a dog. And then you throw out the wild. Yeah. You throw out the wild card bearded dragon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where do you get the
have
nerve?
I told you the story about how I came to own Smaug?
The nerve.
No, please.
So
share.
I used to work at this company called Mad Science, and we taught like fun science for kids and like after school programs and birthday parties and stuff, right?
Fun.
And Smaug was the office pet because we had birthday parties in the office. So he lived there and he was just like my buddy. He was happy. And then COVID came and I was like, oh, we're closing for 2 weeks. I'll take care of Smaug.
Oh,
and so I brought him home
pet
for 2 weeks. And here we are like 2 years later and the office like closed permanently and he's just mine.
Whoa.
Oh, incredible.
That's
so I
amazing.
accidentally adopted him.
That's great.
This also makes me feel like, because I never thought about this, what happened to you probably actually happened in a lot of schools with class pets. Right?
Yeah, probably.
Like,
yeah.
There were probably some guinea pigs that like went home with a kid for 1 week.
Yeah.
And now it's that kid's guinea pig forever, or hamsters, or like snakes,
rabbits.
Yes.
Yeah, because the kids, it's a whole new class. It's a whole new class, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing. They 86 out of there. So the other kids have no idea that there was even a class pet.
Wow. You got the class pet. The science pet.
You did.
And now he's like my little buddy.
Oh yeah. I mean, you guys are close.
What's having a bearded dragon like? I mean, like what how do they act?
Well, like he's surprisingly like cuddly, like an alert. Like you think of like reptiles as they just sort of exist, you know? But like when you get out of bed, he like perks up and he watches you walk around the room. And then we take him out and he like will walk over and he'll sort of look at my husband Nathan until he like picks him up and he likes to sit on his shoulder and like he'll go to sleep. I mean, he's like really like affectionate. It's surprising. He's
like
really
a little
cute.
dog. Like kind of a
He's
little
like a little spiky, scaly dog. Yeah.
That doesn't, you don't have to take him out to go to the bathroom, right? You know?
Right. Well, so he has accidents sometimes when that's,
of course,
that's unfortunate because usually like he has like a terrarium, but we get him out to like put him in the sun, you know, every day, every other day or so. And then he'll like, sometimes
just an immediate dump. Once the sun hits him, he just like drops a load.
Pretty much.
Which is what bearded dragons do. But by the way, you have a, here's the thing. Here's what I want to point out. You've got a dragon as a pet. Its name is a bearded dragon, right?
You're right.
Yeah.
And you know what? Honestly, I would just drop the bearded. I would just say like, what pets do you have? I've got 2 cats, a dog, and a fucking dragon.
Yes.
I should.
That's
a much better way.
Yeah. Yeah. And they'll be like, you've got a fucking dragon? I was like, got a fucking dragon.
Fucking dragon. I pulled this out to show you. it spoils it a little bit, but I guess like what we're going to talk about is in the
Spoil it.
title.
Right.
And on your shirt.
This is right. This is Smog
my
as a
neck.
French girl that a friend of mine got for me.
Oh my gosh. That's
He's like,
hilarious.
A drawing.
No, it's the draw me like a French girl, and that's Smog
Oh my
instead of Kate
God.
Winslet.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Oh,
You were doing that.
so
thing
good.
where You were trying to
I
getting
was.
closer
So
to the
close.
screen. What
It's-
is
it's-
As if it mattered. Didn't matter.
What is going? I can't.
And it didn't
There's that whole
So,
matter.
glare thing.
We have to okay, so Catherine, I'm just gonna
Mhm.
here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna actually cut in here because we have said that we want to make sure that these things don't go 2 hours long. So we got to get to our candy
Right. Yeah. First note
because
that
you
I'm gonna
are
give today
editing.
is we got to go fast.
Yeah, well, a little faster, right? So I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but I just want to make sure that like we got to
fair,
get
that's
to the
fair.
candy.
Because you know
All
Heidi
right.
and I could talk about the pets all day. So
Absolutely,
let's go
absolutely.
on.
Absolutely. So let's do our candy, guys. Did you get your candy that I sent you?
I got a big bag.
Okay.
Justin's bigger than mine.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
I got a
usually
big
happens.
bag. So let me open this up.
Okay.
And I got some Butterfinger Bites. Those
we did that the Paul Briganti week. I wouldn't have sent those.
well, why did okay, well, so there's something else in here? Let me see.
Yeah, I didn't send. There's
got
butter.
a,
There were Butterfinger.
Stay
Right.
positive. That's fun. I will.
Okay.
I
That
will.
seems like
Yeah,
something Heidi maybe sent.
I think this might be a harbinger of good things later. See what we got. A princess mask? I light up
Princess. Yeah.
princess mask.
Huh.
Okay.
That's
Um
weird because that wasn't
and-
the
oh, wait a
candy
second.
either.
I have got something down here.
Feeling a little gypped.
Sweet tarts. I think that this is yeah.
Sweet
There we go.
tarts.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Sweet tarts,
Okay.
guys. Now
Sweet
this
Thank God.
tarts. A lot.
This is old school, okay? Because sweet tarts you don't see a lot at concession stands, but they did used to be there.
That's my question. Is it like sprees now? Chewy sprees? Like I feel like
There's
this is
chewy
this
sweet
is a
tarts now.
throwback. This is like a throwback. Big time throwback.
This is a throwback because even at movie theaters when they had sweet tarts, it was also not usually in this roll. It was usually in the box.
Right.
And then yes, Catherine, like you just said, I have seen chewy sweet tarts, like the
chewy sweet tarts.
at the but not the giant chewy sweets, which is what I call them, that are like more of an old school thing. Those are sometimes at concession stands now, the new chewy sweet tarts. But an OG sweet tart, you're not going to see it a lot at the theater, but I do remember having them there when I was a kid.
Mm.
Oh yeah,
What
they
about
were
you
one of my
guys?
go-tos.
They were?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
I'm
so
actually
glad.
I'm so excited
That was
right
a
now. I was a
go-to.
little nervous.
Oh
That
my
was a-
God.
That's
I'm
right.
I'm a little
Well, hey,
bit picky. So like
Really?
the fact that you
On your
nailed
tarts?
just like probably my favorite candy is a huge
Oh
relief
my
to me.
God, I really was like, she's going to think I am so boring. But I was like, I kind of just want to do sweet tarts.
No, I love sweet tarts. Like road trip go
pure
to
sugar.
for sure. Yeah.
Mhm.
it's pure sugar.
It is.
I mean-
It's a condensed pixie stick, basically, right? It's
That's
like
what it is.
similar-
I think it's the same
And-
stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
It's gotta be. And like basically, like what is in this? It is dextrose, maltodextrin, malic acid, whereas natural flavors, a blue 1 lake, blue 2 lake, red. Is there sugar here? May contain egg. What is going on? What is in this?
That's how they stick
May
together.
contain egg. Well,
They just
okay.
mix a little egg in with the pixie sticks.
Yep. It's
Uh-huh.
Call
mostly.
it a day.
Who knew?
Oh.
Who knew?
Oh.
Dextrose, egg, a little milk in your sweet tarts.
Catherine,
there you
the
go.
sweet tart expert. I think I know what you're gonna say just because you're a human being, and I think it would be weird if you didn't pick this flavor.
Ooh, putting it
But
out
what
there.
is your favorite sweet tart color?
This guy, red.
Whoa, okay.
Oh, see?
You are not a human being. Wait, what?
Curveball.
Oh,
Justin, what's your favorite?
what's the correct answer?
The correct answer is blue.
Yeah, that's the correct answer.
Oh, interesting. Blue is probably my
Correct answer is
second.
blue.
Okay. Now,
All right, well,
I
you're
actually
half
go
a
through,
human.
and when I get a red, I set it aside for like last. I eat them all, and then I eat all the red at one
Ooh,
time.
well. Oh, what do we have here?
Turns out
I got a special one. I haven't gotten a red yet.
Ooh.
Seriously, I've
They're
gone through half
kind of
this fucking
rare, I
pack.
think.
Now, I'll say that I feel like
There's no rarities in sweet tarts.
Psychologically, I think there is.
I'm cool because I think blue is best. But then what I think is second best, I bet is what you guys think is nastiest, and that's yellow.
I'm getting to the yellow now. I
yellow is probably my least favorite.
finally got a red.
Yeah.
I finally got a red. So
Okay.
let me try yellow. This is lemon, right?
Do they have official flavors?
I think they do.
Oh, yeah.
Like names?
Yeah.
Huh. How do
Yeah.
you
know
eat them?
what?
Do you like
You know
do you
what?
bite them?
Yeah.
I
just go all
bite-
in.
I bite them and then I regret it because it's better if you just let it
No.
get soft and then bite. Don't let it
What?
fully dissolve, but get soft
Jesus Christ.
and then bite.
No.
They're teeth breakers if you go right
It
into
gets
it.
soft. That is nonsense. So yellow. You know why I like this? I don't know if it's my second favorite because I really do like the greens. This green apple. I like that flavor. But this has it's not a lemon pledge taste like Starburst. This is lemonade,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right.
Ooh.
right? It has an immediate lemonade taste.
I wonder if you just put that in water, if it would make lemonade.
I guarantee it won't. I can
have a glass
guarantee
of
you that
water.
it
Should I
actually
try
will
it?
not do that at all.
Hi, kids! Welcome to Catherine's Science Minute. I'm Catherine, and today we're going to test Heidi's theory that you can use sweet tarts to flavor water. Now, I did a little research and talked to some friends, and they said this is something they used to do way back in the 80s. So let's give it a shot. Are you ready? Let's start with the lemon first. That's disgusting. Cut.
When I have kids, I'm going to save money by not buying lemonade. I'm going to buy sweet tarts and put them in water.
I got
like
three
this
greens
character.
here.
Who's this?
And that's Justin's sister.
Oh, that's my other sister, Bonnie. We don't talk about her much.
Mm-mm.
She lives down in Carthage, Missouri.
Carthage, where there's a lot of carnage.
I gotta
Okay,
stop
yeah.
eating these.
Yeah,
But-
I
I've
know
never been
they
to
get-
Missouri.
Ugh, I'm
Is
gonna
that a
be
deal
up,
breaker?
like,
And
Like
I've
until
never
4 in the
been to
morning.
where you're from, Alabama.
I'm not missing too
Bama.
much there.
Bama.
Bama.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Ooh.
Yep. I actually went to Auburn though.
Okay, what's that called?
War Eagle.
War Eagle. Roll Tide.
War Eagles. They're the War
Roll Tide
Eagles?
is way more fun. No, well, they're the
I
Tigers,
know.
but the chant
Oh.
is War Eagle.
Wow.
I'm more of an Alabama fan, which is against the rules of the state of Alabama.
Yeah. They're much better.
They are so much better. They win constantly.
Although you know what? Guess who went to Auburn? Heidi. A favorite of
Oh,
ours.
I know.
A
Bo
former-
Jackson.
Bo Jackson. Yeah.
and
Give it up for Bo Jackson.
Didn't Charles Barkley go to Auburn?
Oh, yep. You're right.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
War Eagles.
War Eagle. I like to say
Oh.
whenever I do like a redneck accent, I throw in a roll that.
Oh, yeah.
I like it.
Roll
Yeah.
Tide.
All right.
Okay, Alabama girl. I'm taking it probably your Where We Were When pick for this week. You probably saw in Alabama.
Yes.
Okay. Throw it down. What is
Throw
your
it down.
pick?
Here we go. So little indie movie you've probably never heard of.
Yeah, tiny.
It's a film called Titanic.
Ooh. I've never heard
Familiar
of
with
it.
this one?
You're right.
Oh, yeah.
Was it was that like in the like the 30s or 40s that came out? Titanic?
I think it was 1951.
50. Oh, okay. A little
Okay.
bit before my time.
Right in
Catherine,
my
you look
sweet
pretty good
spot.
for your age.
But no,
Um,
the blockbuster
okay, no,
Titanic,
wait.
1997. You know.
Before just so we have show notes and some type tonight. No show notes. We're off the cuff. But John, who is the other producer, Wonderkund, who helps us out, sent us a
Wonderkund?
link for Wonderkind. I didn't say cunt. You did.
You said cunt.
But
Wonder cunt.
I cut.
So
okay. Okay.
I'm going to take it as you just called him a
A
wonder
hard
cunt.
T. Okay, John, the other wonder cunt in our menagerie, is
Does that make me
sent
the
out
first
link
wonder cunt?
I'll take on wonder cunt.
I'll be a
too,
wonder
like
cunt
that.
too.
We're the
Yeah,
wonder
it's
cunts. Here we
the
go.
4 wonder cunts.
Yeah.
So he sent out the link and it says Death Boat.
Mhm.
So I was like, I just had to bring that up just so that people knew. It's like it was that was the link for our recording tonight. It's called Death Boat. So
Yes.
It made
John
me
loves
laugh,
a very
too.
subtle joke.
yeah,
But it
it's
was
a very
so
Canadian thing.
It was so subtle that I will kind of say I was like, so I get the link, I like scroll down and I just see like Death Boat. And I was like, okay, that's intense. Or I was like, I don't know and then I was like, Titanic. Like,
Oh,
it takes me a second, but
yeah.
I
Those are
got
the best
it.
ones. You'll get it eventually. You just got it.
But Titanic, Catherine, I was so
Titanic.
glad when you said you wanted to do it. I see it on your shirt tonight. I wore my Heart of the Ocean. It's nice to
we're
find a
fangirls.
fellow fangirl in Titanic.
Mhm. Love
Um,
Titanic.
How old were you when you first saw Titanic?
Okay, so there's a story here.
Love it.
Yeah.
So Titanic, December 1997, right?
Yes.
I was 6 years old,
a baby.
a baby. But here's the thing:
Ooh.
it came out. It was this whole big deal. Everyone was talking about it. I was dying to see it, and I did not see it
Okay.
because I was 6 years
Whoa.
old.
Because you were little. You
Right,
were
so
little.
my-
and your smog drawing,
yeah.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah. So like, I think my mom's probably like, well, it's 3 hours long. It's pretty intense. Like, I think it would be pretty scary for a 6-year-old to see that in the theater. Plus, yeah, there's the boobies.
Yeah.
So she doesn't let me go see it. But nonetheless, like every human being with eyeballs, I fell in love with Leonardo DiCaprio
At
right?
6.
at 6. Like at 6, I was like, I don't
course.
understand like sexuality, but I do know that something's good about him.
Yeah.
It was the hair,
Mhm.
it was everything.
I
Yeah.
fell
so
in love
just,
with Leonardo DiCaprio. I mean, come on,
yeah, it
Yeah.
defies sexual orientation.
Even if
Yeah.
you're straight, even if you're a straight guy, you've got a list. You've got a couple people.
And
Like-
1997,
And Leo
Leonardo
made it.
DiCaprio is on it.
Okay, Leo.
Yes.
You know what? Okay,
It's
Yeah.
on.
you're too pretty.
Mm-hmm. So when I finally did see it, it was when it came out for like home release, which was September of 98. So like
Okay, yeah.
almost a whole year later. So now I'm 7.
You had to wait a long time.
I had to wait a long time, considering how big of a deal it was, too. And then I'm seeing the commercials, right? And it's that famous 2-part VHS.
I was just about to bring that up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
It's a
Never
thick
seen
one.
that before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this movie, there's 2 parts to it. Like, what are you telling me right now? I'm losing my mind. And then my next door neighbor, my best friend, Virginia, she's like a couple years older than me. She gets the VHS. My
Okay.
mom's like, you can watch it. She tells Virginia to fast forward through, quote, that one scene. And so I go over there.
Wow.
And actually, my most vivid memory of the first time I watched it was Virginia told me to close my eyes so she could fast forward through the drawing. And I did like the classic thing. And then, of course, I peeked.
Yeah.
Like, that is my clearest memory, is peeking and seeing the drawing anyway.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. And would you have been 7 at this time?
Yes, I was 7 now.
Okay.
First
You were
grade.
7.
And it just changed me. I became so obsessed with it. Like, I remember going to the book fair a couple weeks later. I only got like Titanic merch. I specifically remember a book of like how to draw the Titanic that I picked up. And I
Wow.
cannot draw, but I was like obsessed with studying like all the decks and like learning the layout of the ship.
Mm.
Wow.
And that
Yep.
was a big thing. But actually the best part / worst part of the story is that later that year I got really sick. So I had what's it called? Post-streptococcal glomerulonephritis. I think is what it's
You
called.
too?
Yeah, we all know what that is.
Yeah, it usually get it at 7 or 8.
Mhm.
It lasts for, about 9 months.
Exactly. I actually even had to Google it because I couldn't remember what it was. But basically, I had a strep throat infection, and then the antibodies that my body made attacked my kidneys, and they were just like bye and stopped working.
Oh my god.
So,
I'm so
Oh,
sorry
shit.
you went through that.
Well, there's a bright side coming. Don't you
Okay.
worry.
I know. I'm gonna say, don't be sorry because there's a good
Yeah,
story.
I don't bring it up for pity.
Look at what
but
happened.
Look
Yeah.
where I am now, guys.
Look at where you're. Yeah,
Kidneys working great.
that's right.
But no, I was in like the ICU. I was in the hospital for like 2 or 3 weeks. Like, it was like pretty intense. And I remember being like really scared. But every person I had ever met came to visit me and brought me a present.
That
And, like,
is
I didn't
really
have to go to
cool.
school. So like the principal came, my teacher came, my classmates came, my parents' coworkers came.
Wow.
Everybody was there.
God.
So,
And
do you think I'm just gonna ask you real quick, just interject here. Do you think that would happen today? Because I don't think that would happen today. I think that I
you don't
don't
think
even
people
know
would
if
go
it would
visit
happen
a
in
sick
Mis-
kid?
No, not everybody though. Everybody.
No, Justin.
I think like people would send like video messages to you, be like text and
True.
all this other shit. But back then that didn't exist. So they had to come to the
True.
hospital, and if they're going to come to the hospital, if they don't have something, they're a dickhead. Right. So Heidi, you're
It
saying.
is. I agree with you. It's probably cut down with like text and that you can do a video message. But I will tell you, like, one of Zeb's editors at Marvel, like this was 2 years ago. This was like pre-COVID. Her daughter, who was like 5 years old at the time, had a surgery, and like Saturday night, Zeb and I are going to bed, and he was like, "Oh, Sunday morning, we're like going to see my editor's daughter in the hospital. We're gonna go visit her." And I was like, "Oh, we are." Like, I hadn't visited someone in the hospital in a long time, and like a little 5-year-old, and he was like, "Yeah, she's just out." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So we get up early, and he's like, "And they're going to be checking out." So it's like, I think we went at like 7 a.m. and we visit this little girl in the hospital. And I will say that it seemed like she had been showered in like love and people and visitors. Her nails had been painted. Like one of Zeb's editor's friends had come and like her gift to her was painting her nails in the hospital. Like she had had kind of like, we of course brought her stuffed animal. It was like she had some visitors and I was like, this is
good.
cool. I'm glad she got the love. And I was like, Zeb, I'm glad we did that. That was cute. That was sweet. So I'm glad that everybody came and saw you, Catherine.
Yeah. Everybody was there. They all had presents. And every single present was Titanic related.
Stop
Holy
it.
shit.
Shut
But
up.
because they knew. Because they knew, though. They knew.
Because they knew.
Right?
Yeah.
You were
They
the
knew.
Titanic girl.
You were already.
I was the Titanic
You were
kid. It
already
was
the
the
Titanic
only
girl,
thing I
yeah.
wanted to talk about. So I remember I had, I think, multiple Heart of the Ocean necklaces. I had books, posters, magazines.
Yeah.
I swear to God,
Just
I think I
rolling
had
in
a Jack Dawson doll.
Oh, so
Like,
lucky.
it was everything. And that just
And you're
solidified
so
it into like a lifelong obsession.
You're so smart too, because I love that now you identify as the dragon girl, because of Smog. But
Unfortunately.
like back then, I feel like that was the easy thing. Like as a kid, you're like, I like frogs, I like dragons, I like wiener dogs or something. And then everything you get is that. And that's like cool for a little bit. But I actually think that makes kids like end up switching their favorite thing because they get over it really quick. Like, okay, there's like only so much frog shit. Stop. But Titanic, I mean, that's a wealth because you can get the movie related stuff. You can get just the history related stuff. You can get I mean, it sounds like you were getting everything. And I just think that was
It's a
smart
twofer.
choice.
Everything.
Yeah.
It was a smart
really
choice
good.
to become obsessed with Titanic. Yeah.
I'm going to blow
So
your
did you-
mind. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm just going to blow your mind a little on, I bet you've never had this Titanic thing. About 10 years ago.
Measuring our Titanics against one another.
I was fortunate enough to be invited. A friend of Zeb's wife is also obsessed with the Titanic, the actual boat. I think she appreciated the movie, obsessed with the boat. So for her birthday, her husband cooked for her and like 12 of her friends the exact coursed meal that they ate on the Titanic. And wrote like an entire murder mystery thing or something so we ate the entire meal. We came in costume, had to be our characters. It was like an experience. It was probably 4 to 5 hours. At the end of the night, like people were asking to change into like their sweatpants and stuff because they were so full.
That sounds horrible. Sounds horrible.
It was really intense.
Is that something that you would want to do, Catherine? That sounds great. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
okay.
whoever my character was some like heiress or something, wonder cunt. She really was. And I remember Dan, who was cooking all the food, so he couldn't participate because he was literally in the kitchen so much. He was like, Heidi, and I mean, this was really actually, I think I'd taken like 1 or 2 improv classes. This is before any sort of like acting came along for me, but I think he had been like, oh, I think she's funny. No one was kind of playing up their character, and he like pulled me aside and he was like, will you really start doing some character stuff, at the table? And I was like, I don't know. I don't feel because I'm like the bitch, and he was like, just kind of treat me like shit when I bring out the food and stuff. And so he would come out, and I was like, what is this shit? Or, clean this up or, and like, I think I maybe started people getting into character, but.
Were you playing it new money or old money?
Oh, that's a good question. I bet my intent was to do old money, but I think
it was coming off as
the
new
trash that already lives inside me, it was coming off as new money. I think.
Well.
So, they're like
you couldn't gild the lily on that one.
No.
No.
They're building like a Titanic replica that's going to like sail the path.
Really?
Would y'all go on it, or do you think that's a bad idea?
Like, am I too
I'd go.
superstitious to go on it?
Mm-hmm.
I'd go on it.
I would go on it, I think, but my mind always jumps to like worst case scenario, and that would suck if that replica hit
No,
an
no, no, no,
iceberg.
no, 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 no. I would only go on it if it was destined to actually crash. That would have to be part of it.
This
So
is Justin's
what the
elaborate
experience.
suicide plan.
What? Yeah. What do you want to like ride on the Titanic and it not fucking crash into like an iceberg, and you have to
Mhm.
deal with that. That's like Westworld, right? You're going to get saved. It's not. It's not. You're not going to die, right? But I would want to have that full experience. If they could give me that full experience, I'd pay a lot of money because
That's true.
I
Like
would.
ride the ship down, like full Leo, like on it until it goes underwater, and then the Coast Guard's gonna show up this time.
That's right. And you're
Yeah.
on you're treading water and you'd be like, "Bitch, move over. This is a big piece of wood. I can
Justin,
fit
don't
on
go
here
there.
too."
Mm-mm.
Uh-oh,
He tried to get on the door in the movie, and it like sank.
Oh, that's right. It sank. Well,
Right.
That's the detail
he
that
should have
everyone who
tried
makes that argument.
harder.
Forget.
He should have tried harder.
Well, look,
Ugh.
the script
Yeah.
said he died.
Well, in
so
any
he
event,
died.
that's what I would want. The answer
That's
is I would absolutely go, but it would have to crash in order for me to want to
I would-
actually.
I would love
Yeah.
like a Titanic theme park, as terribly insensitive as that is to people who genuinely really did die. It would be like, we see it as like the movie, really. And that would be
I
like
feel-
sort of exciting.
I feel like maritime accidents and maritime baddies are like okay, like pirates, right?
Drew.
Pirates are rapists and murderers, right? Like
Mhm.
pirates have been completely like, Disneyfied, right? So I feel like any type of like maritime accident, it's like, oh, you drowned. Oh, it's in water. It's just, there's no explosions, right? So like just feels like if it's on the water, it's cool. You're fine. I
That's
think
the
I think
rule.
you should come up with those ideas. Yeah.
I mean,
Draft
it
them
would
up.
be weird
Do
to
it.
have a Titanic amusement park. It kind of feels like it should be a Titanic water park.
Yeah, that's what I meant, yeah.
Ooh, that's right. That's right.
That would
It's like
probably-
the ships like this,
Mhm.
and like one
Water
of the water
slide.
slides is you sliding down the deck, and around the big plugs,
Mm.
that the people would hit, and it
Yeah.
keeps going like this, so you go faster and faster and faster,
Yeah.
and then maybe you do like hit one of those and just vault off of it, just like in, and then land in like this big tub of icy goo.
Ice cream.
Ice
This
cream.
is because
That's right.
this is sounding like Action Park. Have y'all watched that documentary?
Yeah, I was gonna
Yes.
bring it up. It's
Love it.
incredible.
Amazing.
It's insane.
Crazier
It's so
every
New
second.
Jersey. It's so New
I
Jersey.
know. I've never wanted to be a teenager in New Jersey at that time more. I mean,
Right?
there was like a description. It's that comedian. Is it Chris Gethard?
Yeah.
Chris.
Get
Yeah.
hard. Get hard.
Gethard.
Wonder.
Well, doesn't he say
Chris
get
Wonder-
hard? Isn't it? Doesn't he pronounce it get hard?
I thought it was Gethard.
I think it's get hard. I think he pronounces it not Gethard. He pronounced it get hard.
I said Gethard, and then someone said, no, it's Gethard. Am I pronouncing it
You
correctly?
are. You can pronounce it any way you want, as long as you don't pronounce it phonetically, which is get hard.
I've never heard it.
I've
Gethard.
never heard that.
I
but-
know I didn't say it right, but I think it's Gethard.
Gethard?
Right.
Well, we should have him on the show. We should have him on the
yes.
show.
I
Gethard.
would love-
I don't know Gethard.
or if it's Get Hard. But I loved his description where he was like, at that time, like, parents were not like watching what their kids did during the day. And sometimes it was expected of you, like, you get up at 8 a.m. if you were a child to get lost until like
Mhm.
6 p.m.
Right.
And he said, he was like, so yes, you could like easily ride your bike the 20 miles to Action Park, spend all day long there, get home by 6 o'clock. And if your parents didn't say like, what'd you do today? Which usually they didn't, then they had no idea you went to Action Park and put your life on the line many
People
times.
died. Left
There
and
was
right.
that one ride that was just cliff diving.
Yeah.
into the freezing
And then there was
water.
just that really, yeah. Then there was that really like fucking badly designed loop, that was all
Yes.
enclosed. That still worked. It worked
Mhm.
poorly. Now, Chris, was he part of the documentary that was like the 17-minute documentary? Like that was the OG Action Park documentary? Or was he part of like the HBO documentary?
He was on
HBO
like the
one.
HBO one. I mean, he could have
Yeah.
also
Because
been
I
on the other
felt
one.
like, didn't it feel like, did you guys watch the original one? Like the 17-minute?
Mm-mm.
I think it was like a Vice like thing. And that was all just like, it was such a celebration of the craziness of it, right? And then you watch the HBO documentary and it just like, there's this point in the documentary where it's like, and this isn't funny.
Yeah.
And people,
But it still
because
continues to
people
be very
die.
funny.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But it was just like, it was like they had to have this section, you know, where
Yeah.
it's like, you know, how horrible it was. But then it's like people are still joking about it. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
it's really hard to like still shit on the spirit of like what, because Action Park is America. That is America.
Mhm.
That is like
Truly.
that is like capitalism and all this fucking crazy shit that we just allow to happen, you know, and like Action Park is America. And you know what? People are gonna die. And that
Like-
sucks.
It's not funny that like that one kid died, but it is a little bit funny that they got away with the lawsuit by saying our ride didn't kill him, the rocks he landed on did. Like that's a little bit
That's
funny.
right. That's right.
like
got
it's just
away
it's
with
so
that.
insane. You're like, I'm sorry, what?
Can you imagine the jury? Can you imagine the
Right?
jury on that? Well, you know,
Yeah.
he's got a
They
point.
got a point.
He's got a point. Yeah, those
Yeah.
rocks, they were there.
Are they wrong?
You know? Yeah.
My
I mean, what are you
God.
gonna do? What are you gonna do? I mean, that was 70s, like late 70s, early 80s, right?
Mhm.
People
Mhm.
were crazy. People are still crazy. But I mean, wow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was a great
Action Park.
documentary. Well, we probably
Now-
won't make the Titanic water park.
Probably.
I would still do it.
But let's circle back. I'm curious if do y'all probably saw it in theaters?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Tell
Yeah.
me about it.
Multiple
I did
times. But Heidi,
eventually
you-
see it in the theater many years
Yeah.
later.
Okay.
But
Okay.
many years
Well-
later. That was going to be my question. That was my question before Heidi launched into that other thing. That was going to be where did you see it actually in a theater?
well, so in 2012, for the 100th anniversary of
re-release.
the sinking, they like remastered it and re-released it.
In
And
IMAX. And 3D. And 3D.
3D.
It was 3D,
Yes, it was.
which is nuts. And it was horrible, but it still was, yeah.
But it was like James Cameron 3D, so it wasn't as bad as normal 3D.
You're
And
right.
I saw it in
but it still
3D
wasn't-
and 2D. Like
Okay.
I saw
Yeah,
it
Same.
multiple times.
Did you dress up? Like,
I did not dress up, but
Okay.
I had gone to college at that point. And I did skip class to drive home to see it with my best friend and my now husband
Wow.
then boyfriend Nathan. Like it was the event for us. Like we were all obsessed with
Sure.
Titanic. And so that's just it was like seeing it for the first time all over again. Like that's how
And
you were
how-
supposed to see that movie.
how long had you been with Nathan at that point?
A year officially.
Okay.
He like
And-
kind of chased after me for 2 years.
Okay.
And I just wasn't really interested. And then one day I said, I'm just going to go home. I think I just want to watch Titanic. Like we were just hanging out. We were friends. And he was like, oh, I love Titanic. And I literally, and I'm not joking, looked at him and said, why didn't you say that 2 years ago?
What?
Oh my God.
that
because
was the thing?
That was the thing.
I was about to ask you, especially when you said 1 year into it, you go and see the
Mhm.
3D and 2D. I was going to be like, so you dragged him along and he was
Oh,
being a
no.
nice boyfriend. But
He loves it.
Titanic is what took you guys out of just friend territory, basically.
Yeah, it was,
Oh my
it's a
God.
big piece of the puzzle there. Yeah. Life-changing movie
Titanic-
for me.
Titanic
Wow.
was the panty dropper. That was the panty dropper.
That's what got it.
Oh my
Take notes,
God.
boys.
That's nuts. That is crazy.
I love it.
like, but you know what? I bet it was. I bet like that is just one of those things that like if a guy can like admit like, yeah, I love that movie. That's like for, you know, because that movie was so focused on, I think, for girls and for women,
Mhm.
right? It's not that it wasn't universal, obviously, because it just
I mean, it
did
had the epic
insane
like
business.
disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah. But still, it's like you would think that, like, okay, the guys go to it, and like then it's like the reason why it kept going was teenage girls. They went to see it 30,
Over and
40
over and
times.
over again.
I mean,
Mhm.
over and over and over again.
This one.
But I have to like think that like, yeah, like somebody generally like that. That probably was a Titanic romance. That was a thing, that movie, and that brought people together. That's
Yeah.
kind of nice.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was one of those teenage girls that saw it multiple times. I was a freshman in high school. Saw it the Friday night that it opened with other freshmen. Loved it. Went back and saw it 5 more times. Over the span of a couple months. I'm sure one of those times was with you, Justin. Um, my big thing back then, and I was never, this was a competition of my own making because I went to like a private girls Catholic high school. I was definitely like the most into movies, I would say, of anybody, like in a very like, I mean, like lots of girls like just going to the movies, but I was like, well, obviously we talk about it all the time on here, but in the indie movies,
Nothing
and
has
like,
changed.
yes.
Oh yeah,
And
absolutely.
a lot of girls there weren't going to like art house movies, whatever, but it was very important to me that like, I was just the one. I was the movie person. So it was like this was hard for me because Titanic was a movie like Magnolia, for instance, which came out later. But like I also saw Magnolia 5 times in the theater. I was in no other competition with anyone. But it was like no one was going to see it that many times, Magnolia. But girls were seeing Titanic like all these times. So I was like trying to keep up. I'm like, I have to be the one.
my
I have to
thing,
be
yeah.
it's my thing. Like my friend Ashley and I, when we saw Scream, I came out of the movie and I said to her, I was like, oh my God, like Skeet Ulrich, like that's my new like guy. Like that's my new crush. He's like, and then on Monday at school, I heard her talking about how hot Skeet Ulrich was to like another girl. And she was like, he's like my favorite.
Ooh.
And I like pulled her aside and I was like,
Oh, and you shut it down.
well, I said to you, did I not, that Skeet
I made
Ulrich
this clear.
was like my number one. And I think you said like Matthew Lillard, you liked him. And she was like, well, over the weekend, I thought about it. And like, I think Skeet Ulrich
on
was
it.
hot.
This
Yeah.
is amazing.
I thought
This is amazing that this conversation even happened.
And she was like, after I thought about it, I thought Skeet Ulrich like was hotter, but Matthew Lillard was funnier. And I like both of them, but like just like on looks alone, like I picked Skeet Ulrich too. And I was like, okay, I don't really want to be friends anymore.
Oh my
And
God.
was that the turning point? That was the opposite of your Titanic
No,
moment?
no.
I did it for probably
No.
a day though. I was probably like, I'm not talking to you today.
Wow.
Copycat.
You were an emotional gangster. Oh, you copycat. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, so I think I thought we had an agreement that Skeet Ulrich was
But
mine.
These were just things I was making up in my own head. And so that was with Titanic. I was like, I've got to keep, even though I loved it, I was like, I have to keep seeing it so that I'm in number one position for seeing Titanic the most at Scion High School.
That was a bold move because she was your best friend. So Skeet Ulrich had to be.
What a name.
Skeet Ulrich had to. Yeah, right. Skeet Ulrich had to be ephemerally yours only.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't be anybody else's. They couldn't even think about it, and maybe they could think about it, but they couldn't vocalize it.
Yes.
That's how insane you were back then.
And see, this is what was tricky about Titanic because it was like, obviously I was into Leo too, but it's like
Right.
Titanic comes out, I realize everybody's into Leo now. So I would do a thing where when everyone at school was like, oh my God, Leonardo Dicaprio is so hot, da, 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 And I'd roll up to the conversation and I'd be like, watch Basketball Diaries. You know, like I had to throw out a different DiCaprio and be like, he's actually like, that's one of his first and he's hotter in that. Or like, you know, I
thought you were going to say that you were like a Cal stan just to be a contrarian. You like Leo,
Billy
I like
Zane?
Cal. Billy
No.
Zane is it for me.
No, never.
Wow.
Bruce is
never
made,
went
baby.
there. Never went there. Never. I just tried to school them on like, if you really like Leo, then go back. Basketball Diaries. What's Eating Gilbert Grape? Like, try me. The one with what was the one with Robert De Niro, Justin, where he's like
A Boy's Life.
Yes.
A Boy's Life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, do those. Yeah.
He was better in all of those. He was better in all of those.
Yeah, I mean, he's fantastic in What's Eating Gilbert Grape. He should have won the Oscar that year
He's
over Tommy Lee
fantastic,
Jones. And
but it's also sort of in our present day. Like it's just one of those movies that like you're like, wow.
Yeah.
I don't think that could happen today.
No, it
like,
wouldn't.
But
at the
happen
time,
today.
he was a child and he did a great job.
Well, you know what? And I think though, yes, number one, yes, right? But you know who ruined it? Sean Penn. The other sister.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Or is the other
No.
whatever. No, I am Sam.
Sam. And then Giovanni Ribisi and Juliette Lewis.
In the other
sister.
yeah, that trio ruined it.
Yeah.
They ruined it. But Leo, I think, well, I mean, like I just had to point that out because somebody had mentioned that in some sort of YouTube video I was watching recently. And it's like, this couldn't happen today, you know? And it's like, yeah, you're right. It couldn't. But he still nailed it. I mean, and like you still watch that movie and his portrayal is he was nominated for an Oscar for that. Right?
Yeah. He lost.
He should have won.
Yeah.
To Tommy Lee Jones.
In The Fugitive.
Right?
Yeah.
In The Fugitive. I mean, like, come on.
But
like,
great movie.
It was a great movie, but it's like, that was more the dialogue. I just remember that he was like,
I didn't kill my wife. I don't care.
that's how he won the Oscar, was that fucking line.
No, the line that won the Oscar was that, like, I want every bloodhound, cop, sheriff in the county out, or he says something when they first start searching for him.
Yeah,
it's
that's a great line. It's so memorable that you
you would know it. You would know it.
I know. I think that is the moment that stuck in my head. So, Catherine, you were asking Heidi where she saw Titanic, right? I was still in high school, and
no, you were in I was in high school.
No. You're right. You were in high school. I was in college.
Mm-hmm.
So this was one of those like 94 to 99. Took me 5 years, and that corridor of movies was pretty insane. But here's the deal: none of my friends wanted to go see that, so I had to go see that. I'm pretty sure I saw that by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went again and again and again because I was like, this was. You know, I don't know what it is about James Cameron, and he's one of those guys that like people ever ask me like, who would you want to have dinner with? And James Cameron is one of those guys because I don't know, man. He's just a world beater. He's got something figured out, and he can tell these really, really universal stories that just blow people away. And his vision is just insane. And I just see this like I remember because, you know, like the 90s were definitely like Premiere Magazine, and you had the internet with, you know, like there was little bits and pieces of news, right? And, you know, the gossip columns destroyed Waterworld, right? That was the first $100 million movie, right? Well, Titanic went way over that budget. and, you know, and it was seen as it was going to be a monumental flop. Right. But you still had to see it. And then it was as good as it was. And of course, it, you know, like it was cheesy, but in that endearing, like, you know, legendary way. And yeah, I think I saw it at least like 5 times, but most of those times were going to be in Columbia, Missouri. In the middle of Missouri. Like I never saw it on a really good screen, but in 2012, IMAX. IMAX 3D. I was working for AMC Theaters at the time, and we had to do a huge thing. And actually, they released it in 70 millimeter in a couple places across the country.
Mhm.
And I didn't see it, but we showed it in a couple of the AMCs,
Well,
and that
in
was like
like
a big deal.
2018, they released it again for the Dolby Cinema, and I saw it with that, and that was an even another whole new experience.
Yeah,
It
because
was
the
So
sound,
so
awesome.
good.
Ugh.
Yeah, I
it was
mean,
Dolby
the
Atmos.
Dolby Atmos sound was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I'm in the like, the sound effects in that movie are, like, truly haunting in a theater, especially.
Yeah.
But with it, like, the kinda, like, spatial audio of Atmos and then, like, the seats sort of vibrate, like, it was, like, intense. It was that was, like
If
I
you've
feel
never
like I've seen it
been
for the first time 100 times.
Yeah, if you've never been in a Dolby Atmos theater, Heidi, there's literally, like, over 100 speakers.
Mhm.
And
Damn.
instead of being like
It, like,
6.1, they
moves.
literally remaster the sound to travel over you in like a pattern so that it literally sounds like and you get like a Doppler effect,
Mhm.
Wow.
It is real
which is
cool.
insane. Because you know how like when like the really, really good speakers, like really good sound, you would hear it sort of like go behind you, like to the back,
Mhm.
it'd go from like the left to the right. Well, they have the entire theater to do that now. Right.
Damn.
And that's what Dolby Atmos is. And it also is it's sort of like HDR. So like the blacks are super black,
Mhm.
and it's got like, it's laser projection. I mean, it's insane. Like that is worth the money of all, like even
Okay.
I think more than IMAX. IMAX is a little taller,
Mhm.
but Dolby Atmos is like the gold standard when it comes to like going and seeing, the premiere, presentation and sound
Oh my
in a
god.
movie theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Highly recommend Titanic and Dolby Atmos.
if they do it
Yeah.
again, I'm there for sure. That was an incredible sales pitch. I have to bring this up, Justin, because you mentioned Waterworld, and this
Mhm.
podcast we do talk about where we were when we saw certain things. Do you remember what happened at Waterworld?
Sounds like I should.
Okay, well, no. Okay, so it's 1996. Justin and I are going to Ward Park.
Yeah, it was right before that.
Yeah, Justin and I are going to Ward Parkway to see a
Famous Ward
movie.
Parkway.
Oh, I think I know what it is.
And I had already seen Batman Forever, Catherine, with a friend like the weekend before. And so Justin was like, "We're going to see Batman Forever." And I was like, "Oh, I already saw it." Even though I loved it. I don't know why I wouldn't have. Maybe I had already seen it like 2 or 3 times. And Justin was like, well, we can see what else is playing at the same time. I don't know if you could go to a movie by yourself. And I was like, I can. It's like I'll be on the bottom floor, you'll be on the top floor, like because they were on different. I was like, Waterworld's playing at the same time. Justin, do you remember what I'm going to talk about?
No, this was it. No, no, no,
Okay.
no, no. It's a different story now.
So Justin's like, okay, cool. Just be good. Like, we will meet like at Mr. Bulky's at the end of both movies. If you get out before me, like be at Mr. Bulky's. So Justin goes to see Batman Forever. I go to see Waterworld. He's like, we keep this between us. Somehow, I don't know if I let it slip. So or if Justin did to our mom. I guess it was probably me, but something came out. My mom was like, "What? You guys didn't go to the same movie?" And Justin was like, "No." I was like, "No." And she gave you a talking to, Justin. She said, "Someone could have come into that theater and sat down next to your sister and injected her with something in her leg where she passed out, and they carried her out, and we would have never seen her again."
I like
it
that your mom
wasn't-
is so committed to the specificity of it.
Yes, it wasn't just a kidnapping. Like, when we're a kid, you just see like someone get snatched in the movies. But I have never forgotten like the imagery of like, I could have been sitting there alone. Someone comes over, into my knee and I'm out and then carried
Ooh,
out.
into your knee. That would hurt.
It was terrible. Well, she
It would,
said,
and it would take a while to it would take a while to permeate.
Yeah.
You know?
But anyhow, you said
I do
Waterworld,
remember
and
that.
was my Waterworld experience. Yeah.
Wow. That's a
Sorry.
roller coaster ride.
I just
No,
had
it's
to
fine.
say
I'm kind of surprised. Kind of surprised that I didn't go see Waterworld with you because I definitely did want to see that. Had I already seen it?
You might have seen it. It was like we might have just been off movie schedules. But Catherine, have you seen Waterworld?
No, I've never heard of this.
You've never heard of Waterworld?
Wait, come on.
No, I've never heard of Waterworld.
You've heard of Kevin Costner.
I know who Kevin Costner
plays a guild man. The doomed production that was the first movie that was over $100 million. So people were going fucking crazy about like $100 million. How can you spend $100 million on a movie? You know? And so it was this legendarily like doomed movie. And before it even came out, it was doomed. Right. And, you know, Kevin Costner was not really an action star. And so like he was playing this like, you know, guy in the future, and the whole earth was covered in water, and the water world was this like floating city. And so he you know, he's just sailing the high seas on his boat, just a loner, you know, kind of that classic sort of like hero's tale. And Dennis Hopper is the bad guy.
Right.
Bald Dennis Hopper, weird eye, like an eye patch. Yeah, and it just got hammered, but it's not bad. It's like, it's actually I think pretty decent, you know, and like the production value is pretty good, but it was so bad that like the director and Kevin Costner, who had done other movies, like were getting in huge fights and then never talked again. So yeah, it was like a big deal, but it would have been like you were 6, right?
Well,
So
I would have been
you would have been 5.
5.
Yeah.
So it hasn't lasted.
No.
It did. Like the critics did take it down. The press took that movie down. Like really took it down. And it just, I guess it's kind of sunk.
Yeah, I've never heard of it before in my life.
Well, you and Nathan should watch it.
We should watch it. We'll put it on the list.
Give it a try.
There's a lot of this is where I get fired. A lot of movies you talk about that I've never seen.
I knew that you were gonna say that.
I'm like, gotta check it out.
Yeah, once you just said you've never heard of Waterworld, I was like, oh.
That's what this show's about, though. That's what this show's about. I mean, like, you know, like that's the beauty of film, is that all opinions are subjective. We can love things that other people hate, and you're bound to know of some movie that somebody else doesn't.
Right.
There's too many of them.
Return to Oz
And
is
plus-
probably the main one that you've discussed that I'm like, I have to watch this all the way through.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
You've got to do that one.
That is a lost movie. It is a lost
Yeah.
movie, though. It really was. Like, that was one of those movies that, like, yeah, Heidi, you never heard of it.
Yeah.
And Jack had to like tell you about it.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, but it's one of those lost movies. But gosh, there's so many of them. There's so many of just like these insane, crazy, awesome little movies that exist out there that, you know, I really do feel like our streaming reality, we just kind of like whatever comes to us, we're like, okay, I'll watch that. You know, there's not that exploration, you know, of like going through the video store and just happening upon a box and being like, what the fuck is this? You know?
I try
Like,
to
what,
do
like-
that though, especially on Prime. Prime has some weird shit on there, and I really
Shit, they do.
appreciate them because, and even like what they think that I'll like the first 3, I'll be like, oh yeah, I would, and then they go a little deeper and more specific, and I'm like,
But you know why that is? You know why that is? Because any filmmaker can upload their shit to Prime.
I love it.
Upload their shit to Amazon. So like that can't happen with Netflix. But for whatever reason, with Amazon, it's a marketplace, right? And part of the marketplace are films,
Right.
So it does have to pass some standards, but it doesn't have to pass the same shit that Netflix does.
Okay.
So, and they classify it, and obviously somebody has to check it, but like then it just kind of gets into the flow. So that's why you're seeing some crazy shit in there. Yeah.
Probably can't find Titanic, but you can find like Titanic or something.
Titanic.
Tammy and the T-Rex.
Mm-hmm.
That's a crazy one. If you've never seen that, Catherine, Tammy and the T-Rex.
Tammy and the T-Rex. Noted. Filed away for
Director's
later.
cut. Director's cut.
And when I edit this, now that you've said the title, I now have to go to YouTube. I have to get the trailer and then put it in here. So I'll get to
You don't
see
have
the trailer
to do it
anyway.
with that one. Yeah, you
but
can
I'm
see
going
the trailer,
to.
but it's you're
See,
going to.
Now
Yeah,
I do have to because now I said it.
I love to think about all the things that you're gonna, especially in this episode about you, that you're gonna have to put in, i.e., all the animals. You will have to put pictures.
All the animals.
That's gonna be huge.
The pictures of yourself.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to
have
like
those already.
put you on the spot on like maybe an even hospital pic.
I'll have to see if my
And
mom
I mean
has
that
any.
in the cutest way. Like maybe there was like, a cute day with
Catherine's getting dialysis. Dialysis day 7.
No, there's probably a video because I missed the Mother's Day assembly at school and I was very torn up about it. So I performed the songs for my mother from my hospital bed.
Oh my god.
But I was like really like kind of
shit.
swollen because like my kidneys weren't working. So I kind of was like talking funny because I was so swollen. I need to find out if there's a video.
Oh, so sweet. Well, if that is too painful to put in the show, I understand.
You have to put it in.
The onus will be on my mother to find it. So we'll see how that goes.
Oh my gosh.
Now, before we go
Yeah.
move on, I do just want to mention one thing.
Yes.
'Cause I can feel that we're gonna shift. You mentioned like Titanic was really expensive, right? And I just want to appreciate, and I have written a sketch about this, but just how crazy it was for James Cameron to pitch that movie. Where he just walks in, he's like, listen.
Yeah.
This is what we're gonna do. I know that I've made a lot of sci-fi movies, and I know that they're all great. Here's what I have for you next. It's a romantic historical drama on the Titanic. And they're like, I'm sorry, what? And he goes, this is what I need. I need $200 million, and I do need to dive to the actual wreckage. And they're like, are you sure? And then he says, yes, I'm sure. And we are going to build a replica of the ship, and then we are going to sink the replica. Like, what must they have been thinking? And then they're like, okay.
Oh.
Well,
you're so right.
But you know why? You know why? Right?
Tell me why.
You know why it
he's
happened?
James Cameron.
No, T2.
Yeah.
Terminator 2. He made the original Terminator. Then he made The Abyss, and he said he'd never do that shit again, right?
He made Alien.
Then he made
too.
Terminator 2. Aliens.
Mhm.
Aliens. Yeah. Oh, you said Alien 2. Yeah, Aliens.
Well, I said Alien
but-
TOO. Like, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, in addition, Alien as well.
Right.
Aliens
Yes.
as well. Okay. Yes, correct. But T2 just made what? I mean, that made like $800 million at the time, when
Also-
there really wasn't like an international box office. It was just insane.
Yeah.
And so he could write his check, basically.
Right.
He was one of the only filmmakers at that time that could basically do whatever the fuck he wanted.
Yeah.
So he went back into a fucking tank.
So he said, this is what it's going to be.
That's the thing. It's like, you got to, like, he knows. I don't know what it is about James Cameron, but he knows. He's like, this is my shot. This is my shot. I got to fucking do it. Like, I can't not do it.
Before T2, I feel like, he obviously had enough clout to do whatever he wanted, but it probably would have been, with a little good faith as well. T2, I've watched it a few times recently, is perfect.
It holds up. Perfect action movie.
Perfect action movie. Perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. It has some of the coolest shots I've ever seen in my life. It's incredible. And so, I feel like if someone made T2 and then told me I want to dive to the wreckage, I'd be like, you know what? You earned it. You earned it. You get to, dude.
Yeah.
Okay,
You get
that's
to. You get to. You made so many people happy the summer T2 came out. You get to go dive to the wreckage. All the other stuff,
Now-
let me have a night to think about, work out some budget, but definitely you get to dive to the wreckage.
Okay. We've talked really nicely about James Cameron. But then, okay. So he Catherine knows what's coming.
I think I do too.
Yeah. So he makes this movie. Everybody's like, it's never going to work. It's never going to work. Oh, there's all these things. It's going to be like, seriously, it was lining up to be like sort of like the next Waterworld, right? Because Waterworld had just happened, right? And it just destroys. I mean, it fucking kills every record. It's number one for an insane amount of weeks, right? You know, and that was definitely during the time. That was the multiplex. So there were enough movies to kick it off, and it just kept going and going and going and going and going. And it stayed in the theater for a year. That's nuts.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That happened back in like the 50s, right? The 40s and 50s, movies would stay in the theaters for a year. The big ones would. But you know, that didn't happen around that time, 96, 97. And then the Oscars. And the Oscars happen, and he wins. It wins
Everything.
all of them.
Yeah.
Everything, right? And he gets up there and he does the Leo, I'm the king of the world, but he doesn't do it like Leo. He does it like James Cameron.
I'm the king of the world.
And everybody's like, no. No, James Cameron, you don't, no.
Yeah.
No, you shouldn't have celebrated that way. And
Did someone pay for him to dive again? No. Is it related?
No.
Well,
but he just gets shit on all over again. Like, it's just like they just wanted to see him fail. And then he would,
I'm the king of the world.
But then Catherine,
that's one of those classic like Oscar moments that's just sort of cringy, you know, like it's amazing. He's so happy, you know, but he is notoriously like, you know, sort of like an egomaniac. And when people did that, that just kind of pushed all that goodwill over the fucking cliff.
Yeah. Well, you're also in a room of people that you've just been beating all night.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I'm having a really great time.
They're over you. Over you.
I don't know. The only reason I bring it up is we absolutely need to play that clip because I don't ever want people to forget that I love it, but it also is a cultural moment where it just sort of like, you know, you could hear all the goodwill just shatter, you know, like about mid-sentence.
But then dude did go deeper than the wreckage. Dude traveled down to the bottom of the Mariana Trench. I mean,
I know. This is why I want to talk to him. I want to have him over for dinner.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
He's amazing.
Yeah, every time the industry shits on him or questions him, he just fucking proves everybody wrong.
Yeah.
And then he goes and he dives the deepest that any human ever has. Right. So it's like, yeah, you have your chatter. Maybe he's a little awkward, but who fucking cares, man?
Yeah.
He's a world beater.
Yep.
Well, and then Avatar was then huge.
Same thing.
The biggest. Yeah.
It was huge.
And would anyone have predicted that? Absolutely not.
No. And Avatar notoriously, this ladders exactly back to like, this is a big full circle thing. So I was working at AMC theaters. The poster comes out and we're like, is that fucking papyrus?
He just highlighted Avatar, he clicked the drop-down menu, and then he just randomly selected papyrus like a thoughtless child.
Because I worked in a creative department and we were like, what the fuck is that? This horrible font.
It was tribal yet futuristic.
Papyrus!
Like the same thing.
Yeah.
That's why that first sketch, that was the first show Heidi did, right? That was the first show that you did. And the fact that you were in that, and I was just like, oh my God, like it was insane. Like, because like, I just, my head cracked when not only did somebody make a sketch about it, but you were in it, right? and it was just, and I was just like, holy shit. And everybody in AMC was like super, super fucking nervous. So nervous that that got back to him because the poster was bad. It wasn't good, right? And so they had to like show 15 minutes of it in IMAX and as like a free preview,
right,
to get people
like,
to
convince
come.
people
So
to
they
see it.
showed like seriously, and then once people saw it in 3D, that was like, whoa, what the fuck is this? This is brand new. This is something insane, right? So yeah,
Because
but
I'm
it just-
not a 3D
that-
fan, but when James Cameron does 3D, it is better.
It is. Yeah.
I don't know what
Yeah,
it is that
yeah.
he does differently, but it's just
well,
like
because he shoots it. It's all computer generated, so he can create the depth. He doesn't have to do it post. He does it natively.
Oh.
That's why. So it's because all of the shit that he's doing is and he shoots it with 3D cameras that he developed. He developed
he
the
did.
3D
Yeah.
technology.
Yeah, there's
so it took him that long. And also, go ahead.
Oh, there's an amazing, I think it's on the Avatar special features, but a documentary about the making of Avatar. And I'm not like an Avatar head by any means.
Who is an Avatar head?
But watching the making of
James
that
Cameron.
and hearing him talk about it was like fascinating.
Who that comedy troupe on Instagram that you love?
Please Don't Destroy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please Don't Destroy has a sketch on either the Please Don't Destroy or like one of the other ones where a guy is
Yeah.
an Avatar head
Martin
and dressed
Herlihy.
up as a
Yeah.
Na'vi, Martin Herlihy,
Yeah.
that you have to check out because it is just this stream of consciousness, like the worst, most horrible Avatar fan. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And he's just talking to the camera as if he's talking to his child.
Yes.
And he's dressed up all in body paint. Who wants to go to like the Avatar re-release or something? And it's this stream of consciousness, like revelation of how he's such a horrible father. And it's
Incredible.
it's amazing. It is absolutely amazing.
Incredible. Oh, that was a great pick, Catherine. Thank you. An
it's
epic,
such
our
a good
biggest
movie.
movie yet. For sure.
Huge.
Biggest movie.
Best
yeah.
movie as
Biggest
well.
movie.
You know, not biased, but
Eh.
it's one of the
Well-
like 5 I've seen.
It's one of the what?
It's one of like the
5.
5 that I've seen from the show.
Oh, the 5. Yeah, that we've talked about. I see what you're saying. Thank you for referencing our show.
Well, you know our show well, so you know we've come to our segment where we like to bring things current with our That's So Raven. So, Catherine,
Yes.
I would love to know what you're into these days. Not 5-year-old Catherine, not 6-year-old, 7-year-old. I want to know what adult dragon Catherine is into. What's your That's So Raven?
Dragon Catherine is still obsessed with Titanic. To
Okay,
be clear.
love it.
Good.
But you know, for the
Okay,
sake
wait,
of the
let me
show,
just
I came
ask
up with
a
another one.
really
Okay.
quick question about that.
Mhm.
What does still being obsessed with Titanic look like these days for you?
These
20
days,
years later.
Right. Well, I still watch it probably once a quarter.
Okay.
Like I watch it pretty frequently. I own this
Okay.
T-shirt.
Yep.
That there's that.
Wait, once a quarter meaning 4 times a year?
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
something like that.
All right.
Like a
That's
lot.
healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, Valentine's Day we're gonna watch Titanic. Our anniversary we usually will pull out a Titanic, and then you know just sporadically some other times.
Yeah.
A Titanic.
A Titanic, you know.
It's
As if you have your own edit of the movie.
I have talked
We have
many
the
times.
Valentine's Day edit. We have the anniversary edit.
Yes.
We've got the Christmas edit.
I have threatened to make a Catherine edit of Titanic where it's like I really want to watch Titanic, but I don't have the
You
full
should.
time, so
You're
I'm
an
just gonna
editor.
like cut out. Like I'm gonna cut out basically
Do
all
the
of the
Topher
framing
Grace.
device
Yes.
and just get the love story.
Do the Topher Grace.
Mhm.
Do the Topher Grace. Topher Grace edited all of the prequels together and cut out all the bullshit. Jar Jar Binks isn't in it. And apparently it's a decent film,
There we
you know? But he had to take all those 3 movies and like condense them down to one movie.
to one movie.
So-
There's only one movie's worth
Yeah,
of good
so-
content there. So
Yeah, that's right. But you can take it down for it's like 3 hours. You can take it down to like 2:15.
yeah, easy. But no, so I watch it a lot. I did recently write that sketch about James Cameron pitching Titanic.
Great sketch.
I talk about it a lot.
Okay. Yeah.
It just
I get
comes
that.
up. I just still really love the movie. It's my favorite movie.
Okay.
Love it.
So you're still
Yeah.
into it, but
Still
what
into it.
else are you into?
Right.
Right. What else am I into? Ooh. No,
Nothing.
Nothing. That
Nothing.
I'm sorry. It's just SNL and Titanic. Those are my only two interests.
You know what? Somebody's got to exist. That's
but
their two obsessions.
no, what I'm into now is actually, unfortunately, Grey's Anatomy.
Ooh,
So
that's a commitment.
yes, it is.
Jesus.
I watched it like when it was first out. I was like in high school. I was into it then. Fell off around the time, spoiler alert, from like 10 years ago, of the plane crash.
Okay.
Came back to it a while. I was like, all right, I'm gonna get through it. Started it over, made it to the plane crash, said, nope, this is bad. I'm gonna stop watching it. Did that probably 2 more times. I was like, I just want to finish it.
Oh my God.
And then Nathan actually was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm going to catch up to current Grey's Anatomy. And I said, you have fun with that. And then I would just be, in the other room editing where we were when, and he was going through. So I skipped probably 4 or 5 seasons, and then like season 12, something picked up, caught my ear, and I said, "Hold on!" And now I'm like fully in it again. We're in like season 15 now, and I'm just like, "All right." They roped me back in somehow. We got it. We're
it
close
still
to
going?
catching up. They're about to start season 18, I think.
Wow.
Fuck me, man.
I have
What is going on?
2 questions.
Mhm.
My first one is because I've never watched Grey's, but what I hear from people about it is that it's insane. Like,
Yes.
right? Now, are you watching it like with your comedic mind being like, this is insane, this is hilarious? Or do you actually like it and like the drama and performances, or is it both?
It's both.
Okay.
Like there are some shows that like I refuse to watch like critically because they're just like fun. Like Ted Lasso is like I'm just going to enjoy this because it's a feel good show. And Grey's Anatomy is like I know that it's bad.
Right.
Like I know that what I'm watching is completely ridiculous. And sometimes I do pause it just to point out like Nathan, I just want to be clear what's happening here and then list like the 5 stupid things about it. But I do like I try to just turn it off and be along for the ride. And just enjoy it. But I do have a lot of like funny ideas about it as well.
Okay. All that's fair. My other question is, like I said, I've never seen it. I feel like one time I was channel surfing and I stopped on it.
Mhm.
And I'm going to get this wrong because I also feel like I tried to block this image out of my mind. Was there like a death or an injury where some woman is like either all like concrete or something, or like
Yes.
what the fuck was that? What
There
is
was an
that?
episode, and this is like it was before season 10, I think. We're at the early seasons. Like a kid, I think he was like kind of bullied, and some kids like pushed him into concrete or dared him to get in the concrete or something, and then it dried and he was stuck in concrete. And then so like the firefighters or whatever like kind of cut him out and brought him to the hospital, and they had to get him out of the concrete. But then the concrete was sucking all of the like moisture out of him.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. It was like a really, it's like a horrid image, correct? Like it was weird, right?
It was like kind of scary.
Okay.
There's a lot of like crazy injuries on this show. I do think you would like it though. Like I will say like season 1 through 3, that was good television.
Okay.
I think you'd be like you were into like Dallas. I think you'd like Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, that was Katherine Heigl,
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Dempsey, and then the other guy, and it was McSteamy and McDreamy, right? That was the thing. And it was a very normal, just like love triangle. It was ER with more love triangle, basically.
Yeah, everybody in this hospital's fucking each other. And then
right.
And then there's crazy medical cases, and then there's like drama. It's like people die, people live. You know, the first part was really
it
good.
Can't die.
And it will never go off the air. Shonda Rhimes does not know how to say no.
Wow. Is that the showrunner? Well, see, it's got this. That's the thing with these hits, right? They have this momentum, and then you have this entire industry and all these people's livelihoods, right? And it's like, and then you just got somebody's at the network. It's like, doctors leave hospitals, they go to other jobs. You bring another doctor in.
Yeah, there's only like two people left that are from the original.
You got a point. You got a point. You just kind of keep cycling them through, right? The hospital's not going away, you know?
They've tried to blow it up many times, though. Like, this hospital has had more fires, more explosions, more bombs, more shooters than any place that ever it would exist.
The network owns it, right? So, like, the network's like, it's going to keep going.
Yeah.
As much as you want to blow this fucking hospital up, we're going to keep it going.
Yeah. So
did the plane fly into the hospital? What was that?
No, a plane didn't fly into the hospital. All of our favorite characters got on a plane to go get a transplant, and the plane crashed.
Ugh.
That's amazing. That's actually hilarious.
It's ridiculous. Like, that episode, they actually became a little bit self-aware because the hospital at that point was called Seattle Grace Mercy West, and they referenced, like, Christina Yang said, as soon as we get out of here, I'm getting the hell away from Seattle Grace Mercy Death. Like, they started acknowledging at that point that, like, this hospital's ridiculous. Like, we've almost died 1 million times.
Love that.
So yeah, Grey's Anatomy.
All right. So, Grey's Anatomy. That's what's so Raven. Heidi, what is your That's So Raven?
My That's So Raven. So I started reading this book, and I'm only like 60 pages into it because it's so dense. And also, every time I read like one sentence, then I like have to look up exactly who I'm reading about and da da da. The book is called Easy Riders, Raging Bulls by Peter Biskin.
Right.
Yeah, it's all about the film revolution of like the 1970s and coming out of the 60s, and how movies used to be all like studio films, and then the 70s were like about directors. And basically, like I said, I'm only 2 chapters into it because it's so dense. It's a very slow read. The whole first chapter was about Warren Beatty and Bonnie and Clyde and how that was just starting the revolution, and then how Easy Rider basically then like takes us into the 70s. And it is, I mean, for someone who loves movies, I mean, I'm just hearing the behind the scenes stories of all these epic movies. A lot of movies I haven't seen. I know there will be, I mean, I've seen a good amount of movies from the 70s, but I could do a lot more homework, and I've started. I'm just blown away. The stories are incredible. You brought up Dennis Hopper, Waterworld earlier. Dennis Hopper is a madman.
Madman.
But
he doesn't remember like 8 years.
Yeah.
During that time.
Yeah.
Because he was so fucking out to lunch and on drugs.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my That's So Raving. Easy Riders, Raging Bulls. Incredible book. And I'm only 60 pages in, but I know it's going to get even better.
Heidi, do you have
That's a classic.
like a Kindle?
No, I'm
But you can get one.
Still buy them. But books.
Because what I was gonna say is like,
but you like to read books though, right? You like to read tactile books.
Yes. But what were you gonna say, Catherine?
Well, because you were saying like you were like always like stopping to like Google things and stuff.
Yeah.
And on a Kindle they have this thing called X-ray. That's great. You like highlight it and you're like, Dennis Hopper, I forgot who that was. Say, and you like highlight his name, and then it pops up like his Wikipedia page.
Oh, that's really good. I should get that because even like the first chapter, which was all about Warren Beatty, it kept on talking about like who he was dating at the time. It's like he was with Leslie Cron. I was like, who's that actress? He was this with this ballerina.
Mhm.
I kept on looking up all his girlfriends, but
Mhm.
I could have just
You could have
highlighted,
just highlighted it,
X-rayed.
yeah.
Okay. I love that.
Game
So
changer.
that's my That's So Raven. Justin, uh, I don't know. Top that. Top Grey's Anatomy and Easy Riders Raging Bulls. What do you got?
Well, it's funny. I have uh, oddly, like I have a I'm bringing it back around to the start, and I am really into the crispety crunchy peanut buttery taste of Butterfinger uh bites in this case. Um I don't know what it is. Like, I mean, once we had it, that one episode, um, I can't get enough of these things.
What is your actual
I
okay? What is your
I eat them
actual
for
That's So Raven?
n-
What do you I
no,
know that you're
it's
fucking with us. What do you What's your actual That's So
no,
Raven?
it's Butterfinger Bites. I'm
Justin,
serious.
shut up.
Yeah. No, these
You're doing a That's So
I don't know what
Raven
it
about a candy we've already highlighted on the show that somehow I feel like you then also you which you also
what?
brought up tonight, said that I sent it to you. And now I'm just remembering that last week
Well,
you
I thank you
said
by the way.
Butterfinger, you DM'd Butterfinger.
Yeah, I mean, Butterfingers Butterfinger, I'm sorry. I have to get it right. Um
Because
Well,
well,
hey.
we
why
have
do
been
you have
talking
to get
we
it
have been
right?
talking cuz I like to get things correct. I don't like to be wrong about things.
Are
But
you
we have
in
DM'd
talks with
and
Butterfinger about the show or ads or something? Because I did not want to do that.
I wouldn't say we're in talks. I would say that there have been discussions. Um, but I love, the crispity crunchy peanut buttery taste of Butterfinger. So that's what my uh that's a Raven is.
That's the script
We could
that you were. How much?
no, it's like it's how I would it's how I would
I really
describe.
hope you didn't accept money and maybe you just accepted that box of Butterfingers because we need to like talk about this. Because sorry, Catherine, because I did
There's
not know.
listen,
But
I know you don't want to monetize the show. I guarantee you that there has been no money exchanged yet.
yet,
So
all I want to know,
yeah,
all
yeah,
I'm asking to know right now is, did you pay for those Butterfingers or were they sent to you by Butterfinger?
sure.
So they were sent to you because you said you would do an ad on this show for Butterfinger Bites.
No, I mean I didn't say yes to either of those things.
Okay, well, I'm sure it was implied where they're like, I mean, I can't even imagine Butterfinger would, whatever. Okay. Did you think of or whatever, did you think of last segment thing or something for this week?
Yeah, I did. Okay, so we're not doing
The pitch
um
sketch. You
we're not
pitching
we're
me
not doing
sketch,
pitches anymore,
obviously.
but right. And so that's
Out.
out. But, I'm staying positive. Um the there's so many different things that are going on in the world that I think like it might be a good idea. I'm calling it Justin's Corner. And there's a lot of well, I mean, it's not funny. There's a lot of really like um difficult topics that we should, maybe discuss. And I think it could be an offshoot of the show where we were when it's like where we are now. But I think Justin's Corner, I believe that, I've got a voice and I've got some really important opinions. And I don't know if you've really heard about what's going on with critical race theory. Um, but
Absolutely
in
not.
You haven't heard about it?
No, absolutely. We're not ending the show, the last segment being Justin's Corner on critical race theory. At the end of a show, we were just talking about Butterfinger Bites. You were just trying to sell them, basically. And now you're talking about critical race theory.
Listen, Butterfinger Bites sell themselves.
You're in timeout.
I don't have to do anything.
You're in timeout on the show. I will take care of the last segment. And since because we're not doing Justin's Corner, and since we're on, I have not thought about this. We did not make show notes, which we said. So, sorry, I'm going to steal your idea, and we will be.
I'm just going to enjoy some of these.
Okay, cool. We will be pitching a sketch tonight. I will be accepting a sketch pitch, not from you, Justin, from Katherine. Katherine, I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but I would love if you have any SNL sketches to pitch me.
Oh God. Just, multiple folders full.
Perfect.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot. It's like a lot of pressure. I would have
I'll
prepared,
do anything.
a good one.
Yeah, let me know.
Okay.
Well, you're up to bat, Katherine.
Okay, yeah, here we go. All right.
Do it.
I think, Heidi, you would just be perfect to do like a Weekend Update character where you're like trying to sell like essential oils.
Ooh.
Or like any of those pyramid scheme things. I think would be really good for you.
Of essential oil.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
essential
my God,
oils like hair care, Tupperware, all of those, and then like every time you come on, you can be in a new pyramid scheme.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Moroccan oils. Super greasy hair. I love that.
But
I love that.
But that you've already got a character like that.
I love that. No, I don't, and
It's a little different.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's great.
Well, I mean,
that's a great if there were more like that, maybe I would do that every week. Katherine, thank you so much.
Welcome
for that. I'm going to think about that. And
I got plenty more, if you ever running low.
Oh, I love that. No.
She's not running low.
No, she's not.
No, I mean,
no.
I love that.
She's got plenty of people to give her ideas.
No.
And
not on this podcast. So, Katherine, I so appreciate you taking time to not only edit this week's episode, but be our amazing guest.
Oh my God, this was this was a dream. It never even occurred to me to dream. Like, I'm talking to Heidi Gardner from my favorite show about my favorite movie. Like, this is what a time to be alive. Thank you for having me.
And
Justin, right? And Justin Gardner,
right? And Justin Gardner
Twitter.
from Heidi's brother,
from Heidi's brother,
from Butterfinger Bites Media. We'll talk about that later.
That's another $100 right there.
Everybody, it better not be. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Where We Were When. We will catch you next time with our next candy too. Bye. Oh my God, I can see your spooky eyes, Justin. Are you scared or are you about to be scary?
Both. Tonight, we're not going to talk about movies as much per se as we're going to talk about the villains.
The scaries.
The baddies.
The scariest monsters in the world.